The NBA is terrified of what the San Antonio Spurs just did. Not only did they draft Dylan Harper with the number 2 pick in this year's draft, they go and get a top 8 talent in Carter Bryant at the end of the lottery. Brian Wright spoke on his thought process throughout the entirety of it, the future thoughts of the San Antonio Spurs, and we're going to discuss what he said and my thoughts on it here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment by hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss all the great content that me, Josh, and Brian have coming for you. And it's going to be coming in bunches because there's a lot of great stuff going on in San Antonio. But everything the San Antonio Spurs GM Brian Wright said after the 2025 NBA draft. Spurs added 2 rookies to their roster via the 2025 draft Wednesday night at the Barclays Center. Here's everything General Manager Brian Wright had to say following both selections. Obviously, Brian Wright, we know he can dress dapper. He's dressed sleek, black top button shirt, looking good. Excited about the outcome, breaking the silence in a giddy demeanor. I thought we got 2 great young players to add to the group. And you know what? He is 100% right on that. The Spurs selected Rutgers point guard Dylan Harper with the number 2 overall pick. We expected that to be the case. And Arizona forward Carter Bryant, at number 14, even though it says Bryant, it's Bryant with a T, to round out the lottery at the 2025 NBA draft on Wednesday night. One was foregone conclusion weeks prior to the official selection. The other was a surprise. And I want to shout out to everybody who was on the stream with me and were able to experience this pick live. It was fun. We had a lot of people join the stream even more and more right after we got it. And Spurs fans who were there, we had about roughly 100 around there, depending, peaked at. We were all excited about this Carter Bryant trade, our pick rather, not than trade. And it was fun. It was fun to experience it. We're going to do more lives here. I want to say thank you to everybody who was there at the live. And if you were there at the live, leave a comment below. I want to know if you're watching this here and if you're staying around for the channel. We'd love to have you stay around. But both are set to advance with the Spurs further along in their rebuild. Here's everything that Wright had to say about them. Unentertaining trade offers for the second pick. This time of year, you have to go through the process. You have to answer the phone. But I think early on, we knew we had what we wanted to do and the potential of Dylan Harper. We listened, but we were locked in. Of course, if someone's going to go out there and just say randomly, they're like, hey, we're going to offer you Nikola Jokic for the second pick and Jeremy Sochan and Devin Vassell. You're like, well, duh, it's Jokic. Are you kidding me? So you got to take the call, say, hey, this is General Manager Brian Wright. What's up? And then when you hear whatever offer that is, it's like, okay, we don't need to talk about that. Let's move on. But of course, you've got to do that on the fit with the third lead guard. Positions in this day do not matter. You can put an offensive skill sets together. Having multiple ball handlers, multiples that can create, that's an advantage. I think we can do that for 48 minutes. You can stagger minutes. You can showcase how things are going to go. And right now we think to ourselves, okay, maybe the Fox, Castle, and Harper pairing doesn't work as a trio. They don't always have to play on the same court at all times. Of course, you stagger the minutes, but we have the ability to trade off. Like right now, we don't have to sign Fox to a long-term deal, even though we were planning on it and we traded with the Kings to think of that in the future. But I mean, things happen. We didn't think we were going to get the number 2 pick in the draft. And so, when that happens, things change. And he understands it's a business. So you may not give him a deal now and the long extension that he wants now, because if you do see, okay, Dylan Harper is everything we expected. And so young Stephon Castle, we're like, okay, he's a better defender. He kind of fits more of the mold. You can move off of De'Aaron Fox on a favorable contract, and the next team can extend him for what he wants to do. So I love the fact that this is the mindset that, hey, we're going to go into it with all 3 guys. It's pretty much open tryouts in the sense of, we're going to see what fits best. The only guy who is not off the board of being traded is Victor Wembanyama. From there, we'll figure out and put the roster together. It's a good problem to have too much talent. Stumbling into Carter Bryant at the 14th pick. We had Carter pretty high on our board. I actually tried to make some moves to potentially go up and get him. So to get him at 14 was a pleasant surprise. You're on the phone, you're trying, and those things just kind of break sometimes. We obviously saw how the Pelicans traded back or traded up rather 10 spots to get the Atlanta pick so they could take Derek Queen because they really wanted Derek Queen. He could have went to 10, but they went in and got Malawatch at pick 10, who was Houston's pick, then ended up going to the Suns. They could have gone to even possibly somewhere like the Raptors, but they went with Colin Murray-Boyles. Like, there were so many times I thought Carter Bryant's name was going to be there. Memphis went up. They could have gotten Carter Bryant, but instead they got Cedric Coward. And I liked Cedric Coward a lot. I did a video earlier on. I talked about it during draft night. Those are the two prospects that I thought would work perfectly for this roster. And you know what happened? We got one of them. You cannot have too much wing depth in today's NBA in the way things are played. I love the fact that we got Carter Bryant. I really do love what we got Carter Bryant. On what he brings to the Spurs. He's super versatile. He's a big wing who thinks he can guard 4 positions. He can guard 1 through 3, and for sure, depending on the 4, he can check a 4, especially for a possession or 2. He spaces the floor well, really good athlete, smart young kid. He's got the right character we look for. We think he adds a new dimension to this team going forward. And just to give a little bit of context here, Carter Bryant last year, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. You see the 6 points, but you have to think Devin Booker didn't also average all that many points coming off the bench at Kentucky, and we see what he did. He puts up 70 in games. He gets to an NBA Finals. He's one of the 20 best players in the game, of course. The thing that you really want to highlight there is the 37% from 3. I know the 69.5% from the free throw line is not beautiful, but the 37% from 3, that is. He is a nice shooter. He is a truly nice NBA shooter. And what he can bring to this team is a guy who can be a 3-and-D caliber guy. He is a guy with a lot of energy, a lot of athleticism, a lot of hustle, and a lot of versatility. You can have him as a 3 in a big lineup. If you wanted to go, you can honestly move him down to the 2. If you wanted to go with Barnes, Sochan, and Carter Bryant with, say, Dylan Harper and Wemby, you could do a lineup like that because he has the versatility on offense to play on the wing and shoot, but he also can be a slasher, and defensively he can guard your lead guard or your lead forward or your lead wing, something along those lines. So Carter Bryant is a guy who really you're going to really like to see him. He's going to be a great plug-and-play player for this. On when the Spurs knew they wanted the Harper pick, we didn't lock it up until we had the pick, but we knew what type of player he was. Once we were there, we were confident. And on if they're playing in the Summer League, we'll get them there and see how everyone's feeling, but that's the hope. I would love to see them in Summer League here in a couple weeks. I would really love to see them get out there, at least if it's for a game or two, just to see what they look like on the court. We'll be talking about it for sure, but just to see what they look like on the court, you want to get these players, you get itching to see what these guys can do on the court, and I'm really excited. I want to see Bryant more than Harper. Harper I'm confident in, and we know what Harper is going to be. Well, we know he's going to be good. We know Harper's going to be really good. Bryant, I want to see. I want to be more excited about Bryant. We want to be more excited about Bryant. But the Spurs learned from Harper. He's got a rare confidence with humility. He's very down-to-earth, simple kid, loves basketball. You can tell he knows he's a good basketball player, which you love. Obviously, a lot of people don't like arrogance. They like humbleness in their stars and in their players. But at the same time, you have to have a level of arrogance to you. Listen, I understand Timmy D, our GOAT, didn't really talk all that much on the court. He wasn't one of those guys like Larry Bird who was drawing every possession. But Tim Duncan lets you know, yeah, I'm better than you. You don't come in, you can't be a top 10 player of all time and not think, yeah, I'm better than this guy. 2-time MVP, one of the greatest defensive players of our generation. Honestly, one of the greater defensive players of all time. You can't be that good and be like, no, that doesn't work. Next, we've got on the Spurs free agent targets. Can't tell you. Of course he can't tell you, because how is he supposed to tell you that? Of course he's not going to tell you. That doesn't make sense at all to do. On how far away the Spurs from playoff contention, we put one foot in front of the other, head down, and hopefully we look up someday and we're right there where we want to be. And the Spurs are in a position now where they are continuing to acquire young, talented players. You've got Victor Wembanyama, you've got Dylan Harper, you just drafted Carter Bryant to go along with Stephon Castle, to go along with Jeremy Sochan. You've got a veteran in Harrison Barnes. Obviously, at the moment, we still have Devin Vassell, we have Keldon Johnson. So we have pieces right now that can actually, you can move on and you can move upon, but also at the same time, you've got pieces that you can keep, develop, and grow. So this Spurs team is in a great position, and we've got draft picks moving forward, some pretty good draft picks moving forward. That Atlanta pick's looking worse and worse because of the fact that Atlanta's actually making some smart moves out there, but you can continuously move on and move on. And then lastly, on Victor Wembanyama's offseason recovery, his rehab process is going well. We're hopeful for the future. And that's all you can ask for. So far, he's been working out. He's been doing some light workouts basketball-wise. He's still on track, I believe, to be back for the start of next season, and that's all you can hope for from him. So I wish him a speedy recovery. But the Spurs, A++ on draft night. I gave it an A, and the more I sit with it, the more I love it. You getting Carter Bryant at 14 without having to move anything, without having to try to move the pick or do anything. That's sometimes how players fall within the draft, and they got themselves a true bona fide 3-and-D star level kind of guy. Not like a star in the sense of he's going to be a top 20 player, but he could be a star in the role of being a 3-and-D guy, and then Dylan Harper, who can truly be just a star in this league. But let me know what you guys thought of the draft. For the people who weren't on the stream with me, let me know if you loved the Dylan Harper pick, of course, if you loved the Carter Bryant pick, or would you have rather gone with the big there, maybe one of the bigs that we saw go after if we would have moved up to maybe get Derek Queen, something along those lines. Let me know what you guys think. But this has been Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll be seeing all of you guys very soon.